That's what I got out of her. She called me to chew me out too. She said we couldn't make any decisions.
Who called you?
Marie.
Right.
And she
Okay.
could come here. There's no reason why she can't walk through that door or anybody else.
You can turn, and she also suggested that we keep the building locked while we're in here. It doesn't matter, Deb has yet to come. I would like to call the meeting to order.
Oh, in fact, I think I see her in the reflection.
And, oh, here she comes. So I'll lock it now.
Well, then the public can't
Well,
get
if
in.
it's a public, I don't think the door should be locked.
I agree. Okay, there's enough of us, we can't. Hello. Hi. Welcome, so sorry.
Was it the detours that did it to you?
Oh, the detours.
No, it wasn't detours, I had somebody there
Oh.
that needed help, that I was helping. and
Detours did it to
I
me.
kept saying, when are you gonna get here? I gotta leave. I gotta leave, and so at 1 o'clock I left.
We pushed the zero down to be on?
Yes, forward, no, forward. The one. This is on,
to the
yeah.
one.
One
The
is
one is
on. Zero is zap.
Did you send an agenda out for this meeting? Because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's
do that
what Jean said, and I guess I just sent it to Taylor to copy. The materials are right here.
either.
So, let me get this to Deb, and then we can, look at the agenda and approve it, add to it, amend it. Thank you, dear. Under new business, I would like to add, perhaps having a sale at the senior center.
Of what?
Of what nature?
We talk about it.
Ah,
We shall.
Under new business. Any other additions, changes, or changes to the agenda? If not, I'll call for the approval of the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Deb has provided the May minutes. I don't know if you've had a chance to read them over. I would make one change under C, building addition. The last sentence of the first paragraph, I would insert the word "in." This has been in the system since 2017. And then in D, I would change the last word from programming to activities.
I'm sorry, Judy, where was the
Where was
placement
We're
of the
still
word
looking for
in?
the,
We're
Yeah, I
still
was
looking for that.
Okay, so on the second page, under C, building addition,
right?
the last sentence of the first paragraph, it says, "This has been the system in the system since 2017."
Got it. You see it?
I see it, yeah.
I got you.
Oh, this- oh, okay, thank you.
Let me
What
know
was
when
the
you've had
other-
a chance to read them
Right
over.
here.
What was your other
Right
change?
here, Dennis.
I would change, at the,
Program to activities.
change the word in D, the last word of the paragraph, from programming to activities.
Thank you.
Any other changes to the minutes? I would move for the approval with the two changes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
My name's spelled wrong.
Tell her. CHERYL.
YL.
It's at the very beginning, it's right.
That's right, that's right.
Those in
up
Yeah,
attendance.
down here.
Oh, maybe that's something.
Shirley, what is your problem? I thought you liked that nickname. Was it maybe told to me in confidence?
No,
I apologize.
CHERI. This is Shirley, I don't know how you.
Shirley, I said, Shirley.
Sherry is with an I and not a Y.
CHERI.
I've always wondered about that.
Aye,
All right,
Okay, got it.
So-
3 changes approved.
treasurer's report.
Well, I wrote
Jane, do
it
you want to
out
talk
here.
about this?
I did write it out. I came in and showed Jennifer the 2 sheets that she had given me before. She told me that the final audit report was not in yet. They hoped to have it available for the next Board of Trustees meeting in July. And she made a note, she copied both of the pages and made a note, and she will email me the updated pages when they're available. And I'm assuming that will be,
Well, we're not having the early July meeting.
They're not meeting
The
until
first-
July
July
17th.
17th, so I wonder if we
so
could get
hopefully
it.
before then, I should have them.
Well, I'm
And
thinking maybe we could ask for it as soon as it's ready, as soon as it's
I
done.
did.
Oh,
I did, and
Okay.
she's going to email it to me as soon as it's
Good.
done. And then I will not be here in July and August, but I will do a treasurer's report, if that's okay, Dennis? Through the email, so that you have it for your meeting in July, hopefully.
All right, thank you.
And this was Karen telling you this, right?
No, this is Jennifer Wilson.
Jennifer Wilson, okay, I'm sorry.
Jean, we're supposed to hang it up before when she's gone. Okay.
okay.
All right, sorry. Well, this is the strangest treasury report I've ever been involved with. I mean, we should have been a monthly update, but.
Well, Jennifer hasn't provided an
update since I've
update to
been
the
here.
Board of
I'm just
Trustees.
saying, we had a fundraiser, it should have been added to the page and then available
has-
that very next month or two, so,
It was, and I gave you that,
right, you did.
and that has not been finalized
Wow.
until the audit is finalized.
So we have our information, we just are waiting for the audit to say, yes, this is correct. Okay,
And
so-
there were some funds that were to be transferred from this line item to another line item, so it's like, we won't know that transfer's been done until we get the pages that have been approved by the audit.
Okay, so we have gotten the report. It's just not finalized, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then.
It is important that we keep this, and I think, Sherry, that's why it's so important that you're a part of our team here. This money we have been raising for the last 8 years. This is money that the seniors at the senior center and the Senior Services Advisory Board have raised, and this is at our discretion, not at their discretion. And it's so important that we keep that in front of the trustees. Like, I don't think that anyone who worked hard on any of our fundraising activities would say it would be okay for them to spend the money that we raised on a refrigerator. Jean?
Judy, I would just like to add that we advertised that this was for the expansion of the senior center, and people supported our efforts knowing that it was for the expansion of the senior center. If anything happens, we may need a legal,
It's an integrity issue and a legal issue.
we may need a legal statement to give to the board, saying, this is for. This was raised for the expansion of the senior center, and that's what that fund is for. Yes, it is sitting in the township treasury, but that's what it's for.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They have laid the foundation to justify the spending for the fridge and the walk-in fridge and freezer, because they are putting them on the outside of the building, which puts more square footage
It's a
available in the
footprint.
kitchen.
Yeah.
But I think the intent was always for human guests attending, not,
Yeah, that's the gray area that I think.
Not
they're
for
using.
equipment.
right, not for equipment, not for more room for the
But
kitchen
it ma-
staff,
it-
but for humans to come and eat and
Right.
socialize. That was the point of it. That's what the expansion was
Right.
always intended to mean. And Karen said at that board meeting, I think we could justify, and I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
Correct.
I think we could justify calling this expansion because those are gonna go on the outside of the building and give more square footage in the kitchen. So that
It's
foundation
a
has been
footprint.
laid.
It's a footprint that the gray area to me here that I heard too is we are increasing the footprint of the building.
Right.
And that's where we are expanding the footprint, and
And so-
that's the excuse. I'm not saying I agree with it, but.
Right, that's what they're doing, but it may be technically correct, but it is certainly not in the spirit of the intent.
Yeah. I
Do you
agree.
know if we have any retired lawyers among our patrons?
Oh, we must have.
Shirley
Tons of them, I'll bet you.
Durfee is an attorney,
Could you ask her if she would help us with that,
Yeah.
Jean?
I will.
Because I have a feeling it may be too late. Because that
I
money
think-
wasn't, I mean, it was verbally talked about, but it wasn't documented as such, as just for the expansion for human people, if you want to say that. I think, I think going forward, we need that documentation. But I hope it's not too late, but I'm just.
A lawyer could tell us
Yeah.
that, so.
In the
It was
future,
on
we need to be.
all of the fundraising.
I
For
understand.
every event that we've done. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it was Dolly Parton or Elvis Presley or Tuesday Tacos or garage sales or whatever. It's always been a part of our plea.
Plea, but not
Right.
documented.
I would
So-
feel very, I don't want, defrauded might be a strong term, but I would feel very, fooled.
Misled.
Misled,
Misled.
perfect.
Misled,
I would
yeah.
feel very misled if I had, you know,
Correct, yeah.
participated in
Correct.
that, like I donated my time, donated money, whatever, and then to find out that there was not gonna be one more table
Right,
in that
So-
space, not one more table
So
from all
let's-
that work.
yeah.
Right.
So-
I would be,
So if you could ask Shirley if she would help us with that, Jean, that would be fantastic.
And
any
then,
other
and then we will
lawyers that
know we're covered.
That's the only one we know. I don't know any
There's
lawyers. but
someone coming to the door, so,
Someone's coming to the door?
Yep.
Of the public?
yep.
It's Betsy. Is it Betsy?
No, oh, it does.
No,
We
the
are closed.
township is closed. We're just having a special meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to reserve the pavilion, my daughter.
Oh, there's no.
oh, you didn't bring cupcakes? What?
Yeah, I
Well, apology accepted, but
know, sorry.
Next,
Berries,
next time you'll know,
that's right.
freshly picked,
We live and learn.
Bring them in.
but only to us.
they'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. No strawberries for them, though.
Okay. For them,
Yeah. It was strawberries you picked?
blueberries.
That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah.
Where'd you pick blueberries?
So my husband's aunt lives on not Chandler, on Center, and she has a whole bunch of blueberries that are just coming to fruition, so they're very tasty.
So they're not
Lovely.
for the public.
So they're not for the public.
I bet
Okay.
there's a public
But
place.
had I known there was a meeting, I would
Oh,
have
oh,
done.
absolutely, we believe you.
We do, we do.
We do believe you.
Thank you guys, sorry.
Thank
to
you.
interrupt.
Oh, no problem.
Well, that was our public comment, just in time.
Right?
No
Judy,
cupcakes or blueberries, but
I would like to note that the doors are unlocked, and anyone could walk in today to this
Absolutely.
meeting,
Yeah.
because it is an open meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
right. That's why the doors are unlocked.
I know,
Yeah.
but we had talked about locking them, and
Yeah,
I'm
right,
glad
right.
they're unlocked.
Okay, old business, sorry, old business. I think if you look at the note, at the minutes, Ryan was at the last meeting, and we did talk about grants. It seems that he would not object if one of the things that we did was look at the potential for grants that might be available to help with the addition, which I prefer to call it, than the expansion. For me, the expansion includes the kitchen. For me, an addition includes space for eating and activities. So I think that he was in agreement that we could look at possible grants, what might be available. Nancy?
How about maybe growth? Because I would like to see something more than this.
How about what, I'm sorry?
Growth. Growing the senior center.
Growing, did you say?
Yes, growing. I would like to see a new building.
A new-
Larger.
A new building
Yes.
Instead of expansion or
or an addition?
an
Yeah.
addition, growing.
I think, I don't know.
it could be more,
the par-
it could be more reasonably cost because it is
parking
very
is-
expensive to add on.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a, there's a technical finesse to adding to an existing structure.
And
It's
are
not
we
the same
adequate?
as starting from scratch. It's just it's a
Well, the
building
parking
thing.
there is,
Yeah,
I
right.
walked it
Parking,
and looked
right.
at it, and it's like, it's so difficult. You can't run over the graves.
No,
You got a hill,
No.
and truly, the basement for a tornado shelter, which I would like to see, is facing the wrong way. It doesn't, you don't want opening to the west.
Right.
No way. So that's, but we can't even seem
But
to
we
get.
did get an idea of turning the deck into a four-season room.
Right.
And that is affordable, and that
I know.
would give us more room.
And then the smaller
And it
addition
was,
is one.
and it's
another.
obviously more affordable than moving or
Right.
getting another building.
Well, this is really interesting because, I mean, and we have to have this discussion. It shouldn't just be between us. But the township owns 57 pieces of land around the township. And when they did their master Parks and Rec plan, one of the questions in the plan, in the survey, in the process of doing the plan, was where should the new senior center be located? It was phrased just that way. This was a survey that was done with the approval of the administration. Where should the new senior center be located? And so I just wonder if we're spinning our wheels, and if we just continue to spin our wheels, if they're just wasting our time looking at an expansion or an addition, when in reality they're looking for a new building or a new location. I spoke yesterday to the Capital Region Community Foundation, which is where we got the money for the kitchen expansion in 2015. And she said they would love to see another proposal from us. And I sent it out to all of you, the stuff from her, which is the criteria, which includes the criteria. And that application would be due in April, which gives us time.
Yep.
Plus, I asked her if we could invite them to lunch, and she liked that idea. And in her email back to me, she said she would like to have someone from the selection committee, for us to invite someone from the selection committee of the Capital Region Community Foundation to lunch, so that the people who are making the decisions can see what we're dealing with, which I thought was really forward-thinking on her part. I was just going to say, well, Tracy, come to lunch next week, the lady I was talking to on the phone. And she was saying, well, in a roundabout way, that she wasn't quite the right person. And then I know I had spoken to you last month about the CIP process because it's in the minutes. And on Monday this week, the CIP was released, and the applications are due on July the 9th, which is less than 13 working days from the day it was released. So how are you supposed to get architects and engineers and costs and projects written up? And the senior center expansion or addition wouldn't be even considered if we don't go through this process for the next funding year, 2025. So it feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me that we, as volunteers, continue to spin our wheels on this. The woman at the Community Foundation said, oh, well, we'll look forward to getting in touch with, we'll look forward to having the director of the senior center get in touch with us. And I said, why? Why not us? I didn't say it that way, but she said, well, that's who we work with, your superintendent or your director. In other words, I felt like she was saying to me, that shouldn't come from the committee. The Capital Region Community Foundation grant for, $100,000 shouldn't come from a committee. It should come from the administration. And if you look at all the CIPs that are turned into the planning department for expansions, additions, equipment, they all come from the administration. It's not to say that a committee can't write a request for a capital improvement project, but the ones that get the most attention are the ones that the administration turns in and are backing 100%. And so I don't know, I just don't, for one, I am going on a 7-day vacation with my granddaughter, with my daughter and my granddaughter, with my daughter and my granddaughters, and we're leaving on the 29th of June, and won't be back until the 6th of July, and this is due on the 9th.
Judy, didn't we have a conversation about this? And Marie said, look and see how many were actually approved,
Oh,
how many were actually approved and acted on?
they said
I
it was
think
one.
one.
That was us.
The kitchen,
Yeah, that was it.
But
That's what they-
I thought we had to,
That was a
present
CIP
this
project?
via.
just wait, can Jean finish? I'm sorry,
administration.
can Jean finish?
Was that a CIP project?
Yeah, I wrote it. We had to get them, well, Karen and I did. I initiated, Karen took it over, did the editing. She turned it in from the administration. And then when the presentation was done to the Capital Region Community Foundation, Ryan did the presentation for us. He was our representative from the trustees on the Senior Services Advisory Board. So it did come from the administration.
I thought.
And it was, it was $60,000 required match for the Capital Region Community Foundation that went through the CIP process.
I thought that, that it was a grant, and that wasn't going to be until 2025, and you mentioned that we have a lot of time to do that.
What was a
We're
grant?
talking about two different things. One is a CIP through Bath.
Right, this
And
is,
one is
this is
the-
this is the information, you can pass it around and look at, on the CIP, the Capital Improvement Program in Bath that goes to the planning board. The planning board approves the project and sends it to the trustees, and if they approve it, it gets funded.
And only
Maybe,
one
maybe,
project.
maybe it gets funded.
Well,
Yeah, if they-
well, and even if it gets funded, they can they can pull the money, like they're saying, we turned in Nature Trail, Park Lake Nature Trail, it was funded in the budget 2023, 2020, and also 2024 for $50,000, and Jack Phillips sat right up here and said, well, just because it's in the budget doesn't mean that we're ever gonna do it.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
I thought we got a grant to do the kitchen.
We did, we got a grant from the Capital Region Community Foundation, which required a $50,000 match from the local government.
Then
So-
what's the one that you were just talking about that is next year, and we were going to invite them to lunch?
The Capital Region Community Foundation, it will require a match.
that's a grant.
It's a
She's talking-
grant.
That's a grant.
That- Are they the same?
No,
No,
We're talking about two different
But
processes.
in order to
for two
get the
different
grant
entities.
money, approved through the township, we had to write a CIP.
in
correct?
order to get the matching money
Yes.
for the Capital Region Community
Grant.
Foundation grant, we had to write a CIP in order to get it in the budget for the match for the grant from the Community Foundation.
Okay, so they're two different things,
The township has to be on board.
yeah.
Either way.
I've heard that.
So what is a deadline in 2025? What's the
That's the
deadline?
grant people.
April.
What is that for?
The Capital Region Community Foundation will release their CIP, will release their capital improvement, that's not what it's called. Anyways, it has a special name. They will release those in April, the request for proposals. The Capital Region Community Foundation will release their request for proposals for this special grant. It's up, I can't remember how much it is, but, and it does require a grant, but they will release that in April. And then it will be, they'll take a look at all of them in July, and they'll pick the top 5. Maybe there are 30 applications, they'll pick the top 5. They'll go and do a site visit of those top 5 sites. They'll invite those top 5 to come and make a presentation to their board of directors, and the board of directors will select one.
So we have that opportunity if we don't do this one that's due in July in a few days.
Right?
Or you sent me a list of other grants.
Right, I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
Dana?
We have already been voted down for the budget of 2024, so doing a CIP right now, I don't think will do any good.
It would be for the budget 2025.
Right, so, oh, okay, 25. No, for 24 we got voted down, right? For
Right, we
this year.
got turned down for 24.
Okay,
And
so
if we did it
if we
now, it would be
concentrate-
25.
On doing a CIP next year, have it all written and ready to go by May, if it's gonna be due in June. Have the grant thing all wrote up and ready to go when they're due, and focus on that next year, and just forget this year because we've already been turned down.
Can't forget everything.
Well, let
Something's
me,
well, I
due by
mean-
July 9th,
No, no,
right?
I'm just saying, that's the CIP. Skip over this year's
Here's the one,
CIP.
here's the last CIP that we turned in.
Focus
She's saying this
everything.
CIP is the one due the 9th, she's saying is the 2025 CIP.
okay.
No, the CIP
what you
that's
said?
due in July will go before the board for funding in the 2025
Right.
budget.
Well,
It'll go before them in September or October for 2025.
well, I just don't feel that we're gonna get anywhere with the board this year, no matter what we do with the CIP or any of that process. So let's shoot for next year for 2026, and shoot for the new building, new property, grant money that's due next April, and then write the CIP for our township and go from there.
I don't think the board's gonna change significantly.
I agree, Dana, that we should wait. We're not going to get an affirmative vote, I do not believe, from the seated board. And they are the
At
ones.
this time.
At this time, right. And they are the ones who will set the budget in November, which will be their last meeting before the new people come in, if we have new people after the election. So I agree that it would be spinning our wheels. I also feel strongly that this isn't our work.
This isn't what?
Our work. We can find grants that are available that they should write. I think that it has to come from the administration. If
Oh,
they-
and, yeah, but
But
like
we
you
have to
said,
prompt them.
yeah, like you said before, you and Karen wrote it.
Right.
Well, maybe one of us and Karen can write the next one.
Right.
The next one we need to get 100% behind. We're not, Nancy, I'm just throwing this out there. I'll use me, okay? I want the new building. She wants an addition. We are not cohesive in what we want. So when we write the next thing, we all will agree on the same thing.
We want the most we can get, and that's, I think our problem is, we're not getting feedback of, here's what you can spend.
Right.
Now, how can we best, like, if the board would say.
Right.
That would be, seems to me, but they
not
don't
gonna
want
do
us
that,
to
though.
have any,
They're not gonna
no.
do that.
They don't want us to have any decision-making, what I feel.
But if we go forward next year and we say, hey, we have put in for this grant money and this grant money and this grant money, can you help us out by promising to match whatever we have to add them? But if we get money coming in, big money, $100,000, $50,000, that's big money. If we have money guaranteed to come in, if they get on board with whatever we want to do. But I don't think $30,000 is gonna, because they want to spend it on a refrigerator and a freezer, but
We can't.
I think we just wait till next year.
There is a person at the senior center that does, she's retired, and she does have experience in writing grants.
Okay,
And
well,
if we were to get someone to help us write the grant, we could then
go to the
submit
board.
it to Karen and say, will you support this?
Right,
Not asking her to write it, but asking her to support it. And, you
And
know,
present.
we have time to do that.
if we
Okay.
wait till next.
I think that we need some kind of a green light.
And we don't have
We
one.
don't have a green light. We have
Right.
several stop signs.
Right, I think we need a green light from the administration, from the trustees, that if we invest volunteer time and energy, experience into the process of researching, and writing a grant for even a new senior center, we would get support.
And
I
that's not gonna
believe
happen.
that Ryan did give us
Yeah, I was
his
gonna-
support at
it's
the
right
last
there.
meeting.
It's right
Because
there.
I said to him, I said, it sounds like we need to bring money. We need to bring a grant. We need to bring, rather than to ask the board to approve this in their budget, we need to bring money to the table. And he agreed.
Yeah, can I,
Deb?
I've got 2 points to make here. One, I totally get where you're coming from, Dana, but I'm wondering about the chicken and the egg. If we wrote a grant and it was the most beautiful thing ever written, and we present it, but we can't tell them that the town is backing us, how will that affect our ability to get the grant? You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know which is more important. And then, so I think we're kind of stuck in that situation for one thing. And the other thing is, I agree with you, Judy, about, we should have a green light, but when the Board of Trustees had their meeting, where we were the topic, they mocked us. They mocked every one of us, and they made it sound like we were a bunch of silly old people who, ran off half-cocked without even talking to us and asking if we're interested. Isn't that funny? And they're laughing at us and made us all appear unreasonable, which was why I made my statements about how easy it is to make someone else look unreasonable so that you can dismiss them when we don't have a voice. That's the purpose of what's going on here. I mean, we had one person, she laughed. Just seems like before I would do that, I would make sure they were interested. And Ryan laughed and agreed with her. Yeah, I would think so. So if we do this, Ryan may sit there and say, oh yeah, go ahead and do that, bring money. But I think he's just trying to give us something to get us off his back, so that we spend time and effort, and then later they'll mock us again. We're in this no-win scenario. We're chasing our tails.
This is the same thing as the Park Lake Trail. It's the same, you just change the words, and this is the self-frustration that I hear from them too.
I mean, if we do nothing, nothing gets done. That's a fact. But if we do something, and they don't, and they're in this mindset that they seem to be in, they were laughing at us, and they made it very clear they're looking to disband us.
Yeah, yes.
And put us in something else and take the money. That was the whole plan. I wish I'd written it on a piece of paper, folded it up, put it in an envelope and sealed it, and said, before the meeting, because I knew that's what they were gonna do.
Oh,
I agree with
I knew
you
that's what they were gonna
totally.
do, that they were gonna lay the foundation to make us appear ridiculous, to try to take the money, and to try to disband us, and they did all three. They did all three. And have you been served yet, your legal papers, since you're being sued?
I am.
Sued?
Yeah,
Over what, something I said?
yeah, Jack, didn't you hear? Jack said he's gonna
I
sue
heard him
you.
say that, but I didn't know he mentioned my name.
Oh,
well, it's on video that
He said it to my ear because I was sitting next to him.
No,
Yeah.
he said it out loud.
he said it out loud to everyone. He said, I want it known that I think this whole board should take legal action against that person. And I don't think he did say
Oh,
your
I
name.
didn't hear
He
that.
didn't
Oh,
say
yes.
the name. I
But
knew
he said
that
if
said
they're
that.
not going to, and he looked right at the lawyer, and if they're not going to, then I'm gonna take legal action.
Who said that?
For what?
For
Jack
Jack,
Phillips.
Jack Phillips said that?
because,
Said-
for defamation.
Oh, that you were, the board, you didn't give, you said the board was corrupt. You didn't name any names.
Right.
But he took great offense
Oh, he
and
was
threatened to
just-
sue you. I'm saying, we have a big problem here, and Jack mocked us.
Ryan?
This gal over here, Ryan mocked us, and made it sound like we were just the most ridiculous. And the funny thing is, I'll tell you what I thought was very interesting. When I was up there talking and I said, and I was I kept giving examples of what they said and how what they said was misleading. And one of the things when the scale said, shouldn't they have known that we were interested before they did all this work? And so I said, yeah, that sounds reasonable, doesn't it? But they approved paying an architect.
Yes.
So clearly, they had interest in at least pursuing the concept of it, and their lawyer was nodding and looking at me and going, yeah, like that.
Well, we presented them our strategic plan, which they approved, which included doing the work on the expansion, which is why they approved it. I went to them for the money for the architect, they approved it, gave us $20,000, carte blanche, nope, just go with it.
We're the choir.
Right.
And you're preaching to us. and I get it, but our town, anyone who would have watched that, been here or watched it on tape, would have thought that we were a bunch of people who were clueless and were not reasonable people. And that is how they painted us, as being unreasonable people who just don't want to hear the word no. That was
Right.
Ryan's favorite.
Right.
Which I corrected him on when he said it in our meeting originally.
Yep.
I said, no, it's the silence we don't appreciate hearing.
Yep,
Yeah.
well,
We're grown-ups here. We've lived life. We know a lot of stuff. We've been in business. We've done all kinds of things. And to act like we think we should get our way, which is what he's basically
yeah,
saying.
he did say that.
Is ridiculous.
And then if we
We
don't
know
like-
there's compromise, we get it. And we have all been incredibly reasonable and incredibly, if I may use a very antiquated word, long-suffering in all of this. And I didn't appreciate, I thought that was incredibly disrespectful.
They
Incredibly disrespectful.
flat out lied about some of the things.
Well, just the representation of us as unreasonable was deceit. That was deceitful. Because they laid it out like we had gone off half-cocked on our own without any,
Direction.
any direction from them, any indication from them that they would even consider.
Before that meeting, I sent to all of them, the kinds of things that we had done for the last 18 months, so they had some background information. Ryan never told us what that meeting was going to be about, what he expected from us, if he wanted us to assist in the planning or the discussion. So I felt it was important that they see that we're not just spinning our wheels, that we're working on projects. And then there was no outcome. You expected that they would disband us. I don't think that you were alone in thinking that, but there was no outcome because we went in, led the meeting, and Karen didn't think, she never had a chance. She never took the opportunity to present present what she had prepared for the meeting. She never spoke to that, which I felt was good, but yet they never came back to us and said, this is what we think you should be doing.
And that's what I was expecting from the meeting.
Right, and so after the meeting, I wrote them what I felt they should have us do.
And I got nothing,
And I heard nothing back from them again.
okay, well,
I think the goal was to lay the foundation, and that's what they did. They laid it for all three of those things. They want us to be merged in.
Yep.
Some of us merged in, some of us not. With the Parks and Recreation, they want to take the money and justify it by considering it to be some type of expansion to add on the freezer and the refrigerator. And, have us go away. That's what they want to do. I mean, I thought, and then, Ryan, well, do they even have enough to do? I'm thinking, to even warrant them existing. I mean, he said that. And then Karen said, well, that's a good question. I can look into that. And I'm thinking, it felt choreographed to me. It felt pre-planned.
Set up.
Yep. I don't believe for a moment.
When I go to meetings, I often feel that everyone knows about things that I'm not aware of. It's already, I took Marie's place as the,
The odd man
They're
out.
keeping you out of the loop.
oh, completely.
Yeah.
I came to a meeting one time, this is no kidding, I was, like today, I was 15 minutes early, and I was 20 minutes early for a board meeting. And the entire board, except for one person, walked out of the building, and they were already back there.
They were in a back room having a meeting.
Yes, which is illegal as hell. Now, maybe they were all in the bathroom, I don't know.
Maybe someone brought in cupcakes, because
Yeah.
again, we're back to the cupcakes.
But you
And they were all
can't,
back
you can't
having
do
one.
that. You can't have, that's illegal. Like, if we were a board, for her to call me and me to call you, and you, it's a called round robin board meeting or whatever, that's also, and I just have that feeling. I can be totally wrong, folks, but that's what I feel like.
Well,
Well, I think this has been a useful discussion. I think it just leaves me at the same spot that I've been in for several months, is what do we do? What do we do, and how do we move forward, and what is it that they expect of us, which is pretty much why I asked the question 7 months ago, what would you have us do? How can we serve you best?
Go away.
Because
Well,
they appoint,
yes.
the township board appoints us, we serve them, not the administration. How can we serve you best? They haven't yet been able to answer the question, they haven't yet tried to answer the question. So I think that finding resources that could be available through grants for building a new building or expanding or adding an addition on is useful, that we could provide that information to them and they could do with it what they want. Which is why I had on here that perhaps we should establish a grant team, a group of people who might not include all of us, but it would include others from the senior center who have experience in grant writing. Jean told me that someone at the center has that experience. So I sent her a bunch of resources on grants that would be available. But, I'm just at my wit's end myself. I don't know exactly how we should move forward because, as I stated, they haven't answered that question.
Last I heard, we're still not allowed to raise money either.
They don't want us to do that. He was very clear on that. He does not want us raising money.
Doesn't want us doing
And-
fundraisers, yep.
It's like, but
That's
if you're,
crazy.
if you're gonna tell us you don't
Yeah,
have
I
enough
don't
money, and our town has this need,
Why not?
why would you try to,
Yeah,
to,
doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense unless they just don't want, maybe there's another scenario, but they just don't want this to happen
I
right
think that
now.
might be part of what they can say, well, we might as well dissolve you guys, because you guys don't do anything for the township. Well, yeah,
want to.
they're freezing our hands if they won't let us fundraise. That's one of the things we do.
I don't understand the reason for that at all. Because I guess if we have money, that gives us power.
Well, and they've never given us a reason, why they won't let us fundraise either, as far as I know.
Well, it's probably because they don't want an expansion.
Okay, so,
But tell me the reason for that. You can say.
Because they haven't been in there and seen the problem that we have.
That's why I brought Kate, and she never spoke to me about it. I brought her, and she said, because I said, I want you to know, when you hear from anyone, that we never run out of space. And at our table was a woman, I don't know who her name was. Joy. She wanted to get her meal to go last. And she went up and they said, I'm sorry, we're out of food. So here she had sat that whole time, she wanted to take it home, something about digestion or whatever. And I said, and you see all these people carrying, and do you notice, Kate, that every seat is full? And I talked her into coming. One time, that's the first board member besides me that I have ever heard of being there. So now she knows, too.
Have you talked to her about it?
She has not wanted to talk.
She hasn't
about
brought it
wanted
up,
to
Kate
know about
hasn't
it.
brought
Kate
it
hasn't
up.
brought it up.
She didn't say whether it was a good meal or anything, huh?
What's frustrating about this process too is that whenever I was looking, I passed around a 2017 application. I did one in 2018 for the expansion. I did one in 2019 for the expansion. I did one in 2020 for $5,000 for the architecture and engineer for the expansion. In 2021, I did one for the building. And every time we have turned these in, the planning board rates the proposals, and they send the rated proposals, the rating to the trustees. We're always ranked 1 by the planning board. We meet all of the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan that they're currently operating under. So like I said, it feels to be like we're wasting our time and spinning our wheels.
Well, I think we're being set up to fail.
The board's not gonna change, guys. Brian's unopposed.
Well, Brian is running for supervisor, and he doesn't have an opponent. Kate is running again. I don't know about Al Rosecrans.
Yes.
He's running again? I don't know.
I'm almost positive, don't quote me.
I know that
I should be able to bring it.
Ray Kotke is running,
Ray
Jack
is.
Phillips is running.
Ray is the new one.
Brenda's running, Jennifer's running, Cheryl's running,
Guy.
and then
Guy, but
Guy's
he's-
running. There are two new people on the
Guy's
ballot,
a good guy, but he's running as a Republican and we're
the Democratic community.
Democrat.
Well, I think
But
we've,
The numbers are
I think
more-
we
I think
either
we've beat
need-
this discussion to death
We either need
I'm in the
to
middle,
decide
so I
what we
ran
want to
as
do as
Democrat, I
next
don't
steps
care.
or move on.
Yeah, what's going wrong here? is
about
party
grants, you mean?
I'd like to
Decide
see
what
us-
we're going to do, or move on the
I'd like to see
agenda.
us Form a grant team.
Exactly,
A grant team.
the guy, and Guy unfortunately.
Would you guys agree with that or not?
What, say that again?
I
Sorry.
am not any good at that kind of thing, so
No, but-
I know, but
Ask your question again.
I don't know if it's
Jean
going to do any
suggests
good.
that we form a team to look at grant possibilities, what grants are out there that we could, that the township could apply for.
Well, of course, that's a good idea, if we want to spin our wheels and get nowhere.
We wouldn't, we would just do
We've
the
got a grant
research.
before.
I
Yeah,
think
but
that-
that's one,
Could we get the board to agree possibly to match 50, the same amount of grant money we get, or a third of that, get some commitment?
I
of-
don't think they'll do that. I think that would terrify them to think that they're gonna commit to something when they don't specifically know what it even is. I think that would be, they think that was gonna be thrown in their face later.
I think
I think we're-
I think we need a grant, along with the money that we've fundraised, to pay for it. I don't think we should be asking for the board for any money, because they're not gonna give us any money. I think we need to come to the board with the money.
But how do we,
They're
how
not
do we do
allowing
that?
us.
And they're telling us we can't do money raised, we can't have a bank account, we can't have money in our name is what I kind of.
No, it's not fundraising, it's getting a grant plus the money that we have fundraised for the expansion needs to cover whatever we are requesting.
Well, I'll just say this. I think it's a good idea to put a team together to look to see if there is the kind of money in grant form that could be used for that purpose. But I will say that we cannot put pen to paper towards the development of a grant proposal without the permission of the Board of Trustees.
okay.
Right, that's
All
what
right.
said, yes.
Okay, so
That's the
let's-
policy.
let's put together a grant committee.
And
And
then
then
the
present the
committee
grant.
can request from the board permission to look into grants and to write a grant proposal that would then be submitted to the administration to support. We're not
I don't
asking
think
them
I
to
would
write
go
the-
as far as to write a grant until I had their permission. I guess we need
We need
permission
permission
to look for
Yeah,
grant money.
Yes, that's what
That's-
I got from
See,
Ryan.
Judy is feeling like we were given permission to look, correct?
I
And
felt
I'm
that
not-
that was what Ryan said at the last
I
meeting.
that
tend to
was-
agree with you on that. I think that he opened up that door by saying, yeah, you can look for stuff. You can't present it, but you can look for it. So the grant committee, that could be the first thing that they
Yeah,
do.
research
is
what's available.
Research and present it and say, we would be happy to help you write a grant for any of these opportunities. What do you
Right.
think? And now I've never written a grant. My daughter's done it many, many times in her job. But you've done it many times, Judy. Are there all kinds of grants, some that require matching, some that don't require matching?
There is grant money available, and they almost all require a match.
Okay, they want you to have skin in the game. That makes
Right.
sense. Yeah. But it isn't, is it sometimes like, we'll give you 100, but you have to match 25,000?
25% or 30%, something like that.
Okay, all right, it can be a percentage, so, okay, that's interesting.
Well, and we have that.
Yeah, we
Right.
do.
We have like almost $40,000.
We have what?
We have a close to $40,000.
Right.
Right.
So
That the
we
board
have
might spend
that.
on a refrigerator.
No, they're not gonna spend it on a refrigerator.
Do they have to have our suggestion to, because they're acting like they're gonna.
As I told, let's just decide on this by consensus.
Okay.
So if you agree that we should, do we all agree that we should create a grant research team? Is there agreement on that?
Yes.
All right, so let's stay right there. I mean, let's move forward with that idea. And I'm happy to serve on that committee, and if anyone else would be interested, that would be great.
That's not me at all.
But Jean, you could help us, and your friend could help us, and we could create this
So
little
it's
committee.
Judy, and Jean,
So far.
So
yep.
I
I'm
think
not
that the
into
number
that.
one problem that we have, even looking at an addition, is parking. It's kind of like the elephant in the room. And we had the trustees give us $5,000. Well, they said $20,000, but then they capped it at 5. And we didn't spend all that money on the community conversation and the architect. I don't even know what happened with the contract with the architect. But I was saying to Sherry on the phone the other day that I thought that we should find a professional, I don't even know who does this, but to do a parking space study of the senior center.
One suggestion was,
Is there anywhere around the building space for additional parking? Now, if you look at what they're doing to Webster Road, there's no reason they can't do the same thing back here to our parking lot and take it out towards the police station and add at least 20 more spots. If they can hold up a road, they can hold up a parking lot, right?
Towards the fire station?
Towards the fire station, you know, at the end of the parking lot.
Isn't there a big hill there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, build it up like they're building up Webster Road,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
I mean, just,
Along that same line, you know, there's a place that says, don't park here, it's for police use. Why can't the police walk up the big hill? And put a, you know, and let that be
handicap.
seniors, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, they're
Well,
in
that's
good
where they're-
shape, right?
But they.
Have you
but they-
seen the parking along Drumheller? There seems to be maybe 5 spots there.
I
Outlined.
guess I haven't noticed it, because
Nancy,
I
where,
never go down that road.
where are you speaking of? Our
Just
senior,
On the, let me see, let me get my directions. On the
West.
south side of the police station on Drumheller, there's like
Cement.
about 5 different outlined parking places there
on the dirt road.
on the
Yes.
dirt road.
Which is for.
our,
It's on our
Would that
property.
not be, accommodate our police officers?
yeah, our seniors parking down there?
No,
No.
No, I'm just
Because we're
saying that there,
My dad couldn't
there's
do that
empty
hill.
spaces.
She's
Yeah.
saying open up
I'm saying open up the police
police
parking.
parking.
I've never seen a single car in it, is all I'm saying.
They're
I've never,
behind-
it's for their use, but I've
There's a
never seen
lot
them
of
use it.
area that's empty, as I walked around thinking about this. From the senior center that way and that way, so a little bit north and west. There's a huge grassy area.
Yeah,
It's
by
not
the tower,
used,
by the
but it's-
tower.
It's a way away, but if we had a little cart that the cars could park there, and you had a little cart for food time, a little golf cart with 4 seats in it, and drive our seniors up from there, it's so easy. Go look, if you look in that
Well,
area.
I mean, and another option is that Clinton Transit would do a park and ride at the Four Corners. You could park at the Four Corners and the bus would bring you up and take you back down there. But I'm saying that I think that we should find a way to do a parking space study around the existing building. But I don't know who you go to for something like
I
that.
think that would be a waste of time and money, because all that, if we go a different direction, it should all be included in the plan.
Oh, for sure.
So why would we do it now if we're gonna?
Because even if we want to get a grant for an addition, they're going to turn us down if we can't say there's no parking.
That field would work, and all we need is a golf cart, which I'm sure the township owns one, to bring people back and forth. And I don't even think you'd need to pave it, just, it's high.
Well, and there's all that parking down at the fire station at the bottom of the hill.
Right.
Okay, so I think we agreed, we'll create a team to look for grants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good discussion.
Want on that?
I don't
Nancy
care.
wanted on it too.
I'll help out on
Judy,
that.
Jean, and Nancy.
All right,
And
great, thank
Jean's
you.
friend, so.
All right, so just quickly, one of the patrons at the senior center would like us to have a sale so she can sell her paintings.
Ooh.
So craft?
And I think that what I've heard over and over again within the meeting today is that the township is looking down on our having fundraisers. Would you agree that the township is
Yes.
looking down on our having
I've never
fundraisers?
heard that, but why would we
Yeah.
fundraise any more money
Why not?
while there's this question, why feed more money into this account that really we haven't got a clear
Say on.
say?
We're
on?
not in control of what we're earning.
Why would we put more money into it? I thought you were talking about a sale and maybe people that were gonna sell their stuff were gonna keep the money.
They want to donate to the senior center.
You know, and we could probably find lots of people, like the little artist that's living with me would donate stuff, like face painting, she was gonna do. with the-
Nancy?
And what about us donating ourselves? What if I had a sale at my house? Who's to say I cannot
Exactly, donate
donate
to,
some money for that?
And specify it.
and you know,
Yeah,
even,
it's gotta be,
I'm gonna say this, I mean, I love this idea. What I keep coming back to is how very upset Ryan seemed that we have money and have raised money. Our lawyer says, you know, you shouldn't even have any hand in money and this type of thing. And so that, remember, he suggested that like a nonprofit get formed. And what's to stop us from working in concert with our nonprofit and creating a small nonprofit and having the money go there so that we do have complete control? Doesn't mean we can't cease to exist, and it doesn't mean we can't all be also coincidentally on the board of this nonprofit.
look at the people that
What's to
donate
stop us?
to the Conservancy. They have huge donations of rich people that donate, that whole place is donated. And if we did something like this, you know bloody well, there's a lot of older people, hey, I'm gonna die next week or next year or whatever, and I'm gonna write in my will, I would like to donate to this. If we don't support our seniors and our veterans, go to hell. And maybe some people, if we had this set up,
The only thing that stops us, to answer your question, of forming a nonprofit, it's been suggested it be called Friends of the Senior Center. I don't like that idea, but is the legal fees that are associated with creating a nonprofit. It cost about, well, when we did it for Friends of Park Lake 9 years ago, it was $1,200. So it's probably $1,500 now to create a nonprofit.
I don't think that's very much.
no,
Well-
we could, if somebody
If we
could
were to do
donate it.
that,
And we
might
had-
as well just say goodbye to the money that we've already fundraised.
Well, we'd have to have it transferred into that nonprofit.
We'd be working in concert with ourselves.
I don't think we'd
That's my
ever
point.
get
Yeah.
approval to do that.
Well, we're not for sure we have control of that money anyway, so.
Right, so we're not really sure what we're
We're sure
losing.
we're not in control of it. I believe.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, going forward, we need legalese to
You
make
know,
that happen.
there's a senior lawyer somewhere that would help our senior center, I'll bet you. We
Well,
just need
we've
to,
talked about that. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask her.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, once this becomes more public, I suspect there's not only money and people that would donate, even put it in their will, whatever, that
Right.
see the need in
Right.
this community, as in veterans, you know, this is,
So we were arguing against that kind of a meeting, but I don't know that it's that bad of an idea.
The nonprofit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
well,
I don't know
Because
that
then we
that's
can
gonna
raise
make
money and do
any
whatever we
difference
want with it.
at the senior center, because that is not our building. That is a township building, and we can't just do what we want to in that building, because that's not our building.
I agree with you, and part of what, but the only thing that holds me up with this idea, because I think we could overcome the cost to start it, I think that's doable, is that at the end of the day, we still are at the mercy of a board that treats us with huge disrespect. So even if we came up with $500,000, we still have to have their permission
Right.
to purchase on, you know, to build something on public property and to et cetera, et cetera. And all they have to do is just say, gosh, they went off, now they started a nonprofit, raised all this money, never talked to us about it, even though he suggested it. That's what
Right.
the spin would be. And if we start one, we have to know that we can follow through on this dream, on this quest. Because you can't take people's money if you don't know for certain that you're gonna be able to, at the end of the day, land that plane. And I don't know that we can. because I feel like they're gonna still prevent us from doing it.
The only other option that I see for raising money is to have the community pass a millage, like they did for the library, .036, and raise the money to build a building and to support the center. But you have to have 800 signatures to get that on the ballot.
800 signatures.
I think
And,
that's
and yet,
doable.
even if we raise a millage, the board would decide how to spend that millage on the senior
It would be
center.
designated, yeah, but it would be designated for the
For the
seniors.
senior center, but
I mean, you look around at counties in the state who have really big, really beautiful, really new buildings, and they've done it with millages.
Okay.
that's commonly done.
Yeah. I think that we're done with the topic. We're going to think about a nonprofit, see what that might cost us to create. Does the BOT have anything to add to the discussion from your update? Do you have an update for us?
Not really, no.
What happened with Norm Fastener?
Let's see, the closed meeting was more, most of it was about organizing it, what rules they need to follow, clarifying things. Part of it was
The
closed.
tax exemption, the tax abatement?
Yeah, that, and just some of it was closed, it's not supposed to be told about, and I guess I can say legally that was legal opinion on things, that,
How'd you vote when they came back out?
that I agreed with the way, what we were trying to keep organized, yeah.
Did ya?
I voted yes.
All right, any public comment? I'll call for an adjournment. Our next meeting is July
Wait a
17th.
minute, did we have the new business? We're not gonna do?
We
talk
talked about
the
a sale.
Okay, all right. Okay, I agree.
What do we decide with the sale, though?
That we can't do it right now.
They don't want us fundraising.
Because it was basically a fundraiser.
So what your friend that wanted to sell
I
the
can have a
paintings
sale.
is more like a craft show.
Sure. It's Joy, you can turn your mics up. It's Joy